Hey there, my name is Kat Napolitano. Thank you so much for coming into my living room. Um, I am excited that you're here. I'm excited to chat. I really love connecting with other women and sharing our stories, supporting each other, sharing what works. And, I'm really big on being authentic and real. Um, and actually, this is kind of the perfect example of that because I've done zero studying on what a vlog should look like. There is no lighting except whatever's coming in this room. And I did get a fancy microphone. I think that's nice. Got to make sure it's on because often I forget to turn it on. Um, and I've got really like just a couple notes. And I was nervous about coming in here because I want to represent myself well and I want to speak to women well and I want to inspire you and have a real open conversation. So I just decided I'm going to do it the only way I know how, and that's hot mess. Because I think we all feel like that in a lot of ways, that we're just doing the best we can to hang on. And the pressure of body image and self love and fitness and nutrition and weight loss and body image, and all those things. I think it's a lot. So, I'm just excited to share with you here, and I'm going to be as authentic as ever, and just be here with you on the journey. So I'm sorry if it kind of goes all over the place. That's just kind of the way it's going to go, and I'll do the best I can to stay on track. But first and foremost, a little bit about me. I am 59 years old. I'm a health and wellness coach. I've been doing that for about 6 years. And before that, I was a choreographer and a dancer. I've done so many crazy things in my life, amazing, fun jobs, from stockbroker to urban marketing manager for Reebok. And of course, danced and choreographed shows all over the place. I also own, with my husband, an entertainment production company called Infinity Creative. We do massive shows all over the country, and that is just a whole other side of my world. So I just do a lot of different things, and yeah, I love what I do. And my most special thing that I have been able to do is connect with other women. And I realize that a lot of women love to connect with me because I just have what I like to call the attainable body, right? I'm not super skinny, but and it's also not a goal of mine at all. At 59 years old, I'm really looking at health and longevity, quality of life. Um, and I will say, like, when I was a dancer, I was a size 2. A lot of people get down lower than that, crazy, but I actually think maybe the lowest I ever got was a 4. I think that's the lowest I ever got. Um, and back then I thought I was heavy. Those days, I mean, so many of us look back, we're like, what was wrong with me? I thought I was fat back then. Like, oh my God. And by the way, I'm not going to tailor my words here. This is a space where I just want to be really safe and be able to share authentically. I swear occasionally. I'll try not to. Might want to warn the kids. And yeah, I just can't help myself sometimes. But yeah, and I will say words like fat and GLP-1 and peptides. And I get to say all the words here because this is a private space. And there's so much hypersensitivity these days against everything, which I just find so exhausting. Just take a breath, people. Take a breath. We're just sharing and trying to help each other. And it's my great hope that you can come here without judgment. I really pride myself that I don't judge women. I think I did a lot more when I was younger, but as you get older and you mature, I hope that you don't. As you get older, you really start realizing everyone's on a path and you don't know what everyone else is going through. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know why they made the choices that they have. So we shouldn't really judge each other unless they're harming someone. Of course, it's a different conversation, but my thing is, like, you do you, boo. You want that lip filler? Knock yourself out, babe. Go for it. You want to be on a GLP-1? Great. You don't want to be on one? Great. I just want you to do what's best for you. And so I'm going to jump in a little bit. I took a couple really quick notes just to know some things that I want to say. But, again, I just want to share a little bit about why I've decided to jump in and do microdosing with tirzepatide. That is what I'm taking. I have decided that I'm not going to share the dosage with you because there's so many reasons I wanted to come in and have a real conversation about what I'm doing, because I do have a lot of followers, which I'm so fortunate of. I love my followers. I love the social media community that we get to create together. It's really such a beautiful space. And of course, Cat Pack, which is my heart and soul, that is my private women's only coaching group that I just really love coaching in there, and the way we connect in there really authentically. But, it was one thing I was really, really nervous about. I did not want to come out and just say to everyone, yep, I am taking tirzepatide and everyone should do that, because I really do not feel that way. I don't feel that way. I do want to be clear that I work very closely with my functional health and wellness nurse practitioner. She is a certified nurse, so she took extra schooling to be able to do that and to be able to use the word nurse. And she has extra courses in hormones and women's health. And so I will share her info with her. She's very expensive. I'm just going to be straight up about that. Don't get me started on the cost of healthcare in this country, and Canada, I know, is really struggling with healthcare. It's just a disaster everywhere. So, that is one of my biggest, hurdles, is that healthcare becomes more and more for people who have money. And that, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we'll do that on another talk. But what I will say is I am very fortunate. I also say I've worked very hard to be fortunate. I do work very hard, but I do have resources so that I can go do these things. But I do want to share a few things. Like, when I started working with my health and wellness nurse practitioner, Anna, she's great. We didn't jump into weight loss. That wasn't the first thing. We did our blood lab. So I've been with her for over 2 years before we even started going into deciding to do tirzepatide. And here's what I want to share with you, is that there are a couple things you should work on before that, because there's a couple things that are really can help you with weight loss that are natural before you can get to this. And one of those is gut health. So I actually did a program. It's called Gut Health Protocol. God, it's been so long. I think Gut Protocol. Anyway, it was great, but it was very restrictive, and it was no gluten, no dairy, no alcohol. If you follow me at all, I was not happy. I love my wine, and I really don't care what anyone thinks about it. Love my wine and my martinis. And I at this age, I am not stopping those. So, another conversation. Again, I'll go in circles. I am so sorry. But so long story short, gut health is something that you can really work on. So before, you jump into GLP-1s, jump into these weight loss drugs, because they are drugs, you guys. They're drugs. We have to stop looking at them like they're just this, supplement off the shelf. They are drugs. So I feel strongly that you should get your blood taken and have someone who really understands that to look at that before you make decisions to start putting drugs in your body. So gut health is something that we worked on first. And so we really got that dialed in really well. And then we started working on hormones. And I do want to share with you that I am on hormone replacement therapy. I'm on testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, but not just kind of any amounts of that, right? I think people need to understand. I'm not going to share with you how much I'm taking, because it has nothing to do with you. The amounts that I am on have nothing to do with your blood labs, right? And hormones is a whole specialty. I mean, it's very exciting right now. It's kind of like there's so many things right now coming out that it's like the wild, wild west, because people don't know information. People are learning information fast, getting a lot of misinformation. So, I'm really just trying to clarify what I'm doing here, so that you can look at that and be like, okay, that's what she's doing. That's interesting. I'm going to explore that a little bit, right? And so anyway, those two things I really needed to dial in. And of course, as a health and wellness coach, I work out. I'm not sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to be polite about it. You have to work out. I really cannot stand it when women or men want to do a GLP-1 because they don't want to work out, or they just want to eat crap. That is absolutely the most horrible, stupid idea you could ever have in your life. Because hopefully the GLP-1 and the weight loss drugs are a way for you to get healthy. Um, Now, I will say I do understand the side of it of like sometimes, especially people who really are so heavy that they need that to get that weight off to start feeling better so that they can work out, right? So you can start walking, you can start doing the fitness, you can start dialing in nutrition, getting those cravings under control. And so I support that. I really do. I really want to create a space here too. There's no shame in taking a GLP-1 and wanting to take one, as long as we're doing it for the right reasons, as long as you are doing it for health, right? And to look good. Sorry, I'm not going to feel badly about that. Yes, I want to look good in my bathing suit and my jeans. I'm not going to feel badly about that. That is a part of it. And I do not have any shame around that. And I don't think you should have any shame around that. I do think that we need to be very careful right now about looking good in this extreme, oh, I'm just going to say the word, this acceptance of anorexia that is happening around these synthetic drugs, right? Because it's not okay. It's not okay to see women and celebrities who have great influence wasting away to absolutely nothing and calling themselves healthy. It's not healthy. It's not. And, you have to be really, really careful. You know, um, anyway, I hope anyone who is taking any of these synthetic drugs that you're working on your body image and self-love, that you're working on personal development, because it's really hard to gauge in the mirror sometimes. And that can be a really slippery, dangerous slope. And so, you've got to stick with people who love you and care about you. And, if they are giving you signs like, hey, you've got to watch this, I hope that you are able to listen. And if you are not, and people are telling you that you need to be careful about losing too much weight, then you need to maybe look at some therapy. And I love therapy, by the way. Totally support personal development. By the way, I will have 9 million links below here, or maybe one link that will take you to all the things that I do, because I do not gatekeep, you guys. I really share everything. I hate it when women are like, I don't gatekeep, but they tell you one thing that they do. Not telling me everything you do is gatekeeping. That's gatekeeping. Or they did something and then, you know, didn't tell me years later. I'm like, girl, anyway, I ain't got time for you. Bye. You know, so I will tell you everything that I am on and everything I'm doing. Just because I think it's really frustrating when you see women and you see them thriving. And I will say I am thriving right now. I feel very fortunate about that. I put a lot of time and energy and effort into that. And one huge concern with me sharing with people that I was doing tirzepatide, and I have to be careful because tirzepatide is not a GLP-1. It's technically a GLP-2 because it works two hormonal pathways, right? Which is a conversation I'll jump into in a second. But one of the big conversations that I was nervous about, oh, darn it, I lost my train of thought. But that, I really don't want women to be like, oh, Kat's taking it, I'm going to take it. It's not about that. Here, I think the train of thought I was on is that there's no one thing. There's no one thing that I am doing as I thrive. It's a system. It's multiple things, right? It is the fitness. It is the nutrition. It is the medication. It is the supplements. It is the community. It is the personal development. It is all of these things that come together that are really vital for you to look at, right? Now, it can be very overwhelming. I don't want to say that to overwhelm you, right? Because then sometimes that can just be overwhelming. So if you take one piece of it and you work on that first and you put that piece in, and then that can move you into the rest of the things, that is awesome. That is a great way to look at that. Like, what's the piece I can look at right now? Can I look at fitness? Fitness is often where I like people to start because moving your body raises that endorphins, helps you sleep better. Like, it's such an anchor for health and wellness that can really, really help you. So if you're looking for a place to start, For me, it wouldn't be the GLP-1 or the tirzepatide. For me, the place for you to start would be fitness, walking, 20 minutes a day, stretching, and if that's where you need to start. The other thing too is that this is a slow journey. I think in this day and age where it's just Amazon overnight, can I get it in 2 hours? Everything overnight, instant, you know, that instant shopping, addiction that everybody has is dangerous. It's really dangerous. Weight loss and sustainable weight loss, safe, sustainable weight loss is very slow. I mean, we call it slow, but like losing a pound a month, or a pound every 3 weeks, think about that. Even that's 12, 15 pounds in a year. Like that's still a lot of weight. When everyone looks at all these massive transformations, and I'm so proud of people who have those massive transformations, but we just see a transformation photo. We see this photo and then we see the photo 40 pounds later and we think, oh, 3 months. She probably did that in 3 months. No, not safely, not safely, right? It takes time. It takes time. And the thing that you really want to think about when you're looking at sustainable weight loss, because, everyone wants to talk about the weight loss, the weight loss, the weight loss. Girl, that's not the hard part. The weight loss isn't the hard part. I hate to tell you. Maintaining the weight loss, girl, she's the hard part. That's the hard part. And the only way you're going to maintain that weight loss is if you're putting habits and systems in place that help you sustain that weight loss, that maintain that weight loss, right? And that is fitness and proper nutrition, right? And by the way, when I talk about proper nutrition, I am so grateful right now for the nutrition I follow because it's not deprivation. I did these diets that were just total deprivation and so frustrating, and so feeling like I was punished the whole time and not sustainable because I wasn't going to never have wine again. I'm just not into that. Sorry. It's Friday, by the way. I'm going to go have wine later because that to me is a fun life. And, you know, please, anyone who has had a problem, gotten over it, I am so proud of you. And if you are sober and that's what you do, I love you. And I think that that's amazing for you. But please don't go get your panties all in a wad that I am like have a problem because I don't. 59, I'm just freaking fine. I really love my wine. Oh my God, I think I just made a rhyme. It won't stop, Princess Bride. I know if you're my people, you know what I just said. Anyone want a peanut? Okay, good. Tangent, here I go. Sorry, not sorry. This is me. This is what you get. So anyway, I just want to remind you that want to look at sustainable long-term weight loss, and that is putting all the systems in place. And that is fitness, nutrition, proper nutrition, and mindset. That means personal development, and then supplements. And supplements sometimes lean over into medications that can help you on your journey. And I really want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to try the hard way first. Please don't just jump in and be like, oh, I'm good. And oh my God, it makes me crazy too when I see these influencers. By the way, I do not sell GLP-1s or synthetic peptides. I sell bioactive precision peptides. They are amazing. They're natural. And honestly, an amazing way for you to start to see if those work for you first. I have so many women in my group who are on a weight loss journey, and they started with the natural peptides first and had amazing success and have not needed to go to the synthetic peptides. But again, there's no judgment either way. There's no judgment either way. But what I want to encourage you is to really desire a life of health and wellness. And that means that you are willing to put the effort in. The effort is going to be worth it for you long term, right? Like, let's not look at this like it is supposed to happen in a month. It's not supposed to happen in a month. This is a lifetime. It's your life, and your life has to look healthy and strong. One thing I was going to say is, I see these companies selling synthetic peptides. And I do agree that they need to be looked at and they need to be monitored because they're in it for money. In the long run, they're going to make money from selling you synthetic peptides, which means a bunch of things. First of all, they're going to ramp your dosage, which is really scary, and that's where a lot of the side effects happen. They're going to try and keep you on it forever. You don't really, like, when you get to that healthy weight and insulin's looking good, again, blood labs, not how you feel, blood labs is what you need to do with a doctor for them to look at them to see if you're in a good place to come off of the synthetic peptide and go to a natural peptide, or just go into just no peptides at all. Just go into nutrition and fitness. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal. But um, again, there is no shame in needing a stronger version of that. So I'll tell you, I am really happy with the way my process looked. So, and I want to share with you that a little bit. So, I went from, healing my gut. Again, this is after all these crazy diets and all that stuff. Then I found my functional wellness, my health and wellness functional nurse practitioner. Oh my God, they got to find a better name for that, right? Anyway, she's amazing. I'm going to call her Anna. That's her name. She's amazing. Her link is below if you want to check her out. We started with gut health. Then we started with hormone balancing. We not even weight. We weren't talking about weight yet. All the time, I am doing my fitness and practicing proper nutrition. Okay, all that time I am doing that as well, and balanced nutrition. And then after that, I discovered these bioactive precision peptides. So I decided to do those first. And I am so glad I did. Because here's what I will tell you, there was a reason I did not jump into a GLP-1 right away. And that is because the lean that I take crushed all my cravings. I literally had no cravings. I didn't even know I had food noise until I took that. And I was like, oh my God, this works. And all everyone could tell me about a GLP-1 was, oh, it just stops your appetite, stops your cravings. I'm like, well, then I don't need a GLP-1. It's not going to help me because that's already done. So, and here's the one thing I will say, and here's another reason that I was so apprehensive about sharing with everybody that I am taking tirzepatide, because of course the first thing all the haters want to say, all the little bitchy ladies, oh my God, I can't stand them. What a boring life that they choose. Just the bitch, 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 bitch. I mean, really, girl, get a life. Get a life. And but I was worried about that, and I'll tell you why. Because of course, the first thing everyone wants to say is, "Oh, that means your bioactive precision peptides don't work." Well, I'm here to tell you that's BS. They work incredibly well. But some bodies are more stubborn than others. And again, a GLP-1, like those first GLP-1s that came out, they were not going to help me. They weren't going to change anything for me because all they really focused on was cutting cravings and appetite control. I already had that with lean, so I didn't need it. And that's why it works for a lot of my ladies who don't ever need to go into the synthetic peptides, because they're all set. As long as their cravings were controlled, they're good. So then what happened for me, first of all, I decided, screw those bitchy ladies. Yeah, there are trolls who are out there. First of all, I'll never be able to help them. They want to be miserable. They want to be hating life. And if that's where they want to spend their time, I mean, I don't understand it. I never will. I mean, all the time they spend on negative stuff, they could be lifting other women up and taking care of people. Like, I don't understand it. But anyway, I decided to come here and serve you and serve women I really care about, so that I could share with you honestly my journey, and in the great hopes that it helps you get perspective for you and what might work for you. So that is why I'm here. And so anyway, I was very nervous about jumping in and talking about it, just because my thing as a health and wellness coach is always going to be try natural first. And to sidebar just a little bit, I know I'm all over the place. Welcome to Cat's World. But to sidebar a little bit, I am on cholesterol medication. And to take you quickly through what that looked like for me, it's the exact same version of what I did with this. And that is, I wanted, my cholesterol was going up. And, my father had had a stroke from cholesterol, and I was very nervous about it. So I went to my doctor and I was like, look, she's like, your cholesterol is starting to go up. We might start looking at some medication. I said, look, I really want to try and do it natural first. And she said, absolutely. So we went on basically no gluten, no dairy, all the things, really monitoring my alcohol, all the things. And my cholesterol did not go down. Matter of fact, it continued to rise. And so it's genetic, you know? And so I really wanted to try that natural way first to make sure I had exhausted all the options before I started putting a drug in my body. Because again, here's what I want to remind you guys. Drugs do not fix the problem. It does not teach your body the problem or how to fix the problem. It masks it, right? It's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. So it doesn't really actually help fix the problem. I always want to avoid that when I can. So anyway, long story short, I am on cholesterol medication, and that I will be on until I don't need it. If things start dropping and I don't need it, then I will definitely go off it. But so again, with the tirzepatide, when that came out, again, this is another thing that drives me crazy when I talk to people and they're all negative Nelly, you know. They're like, well, I thought you said this worked. I'm like, girl, things evolve. New things come out. New science comes out. That excites me. I'm like, if there's something new coming out, I'm like, girl, let's try it. Let's see if that works. Why wouldn't you? Right? That did work. Now I'm trying something new. And I get excited about trying new things and finding new things that work for us. I think it's a very exciting time right now, right? It's not that nothing ever worked before. It's just that we're coming up to new science. These bioactive precision peptides, I mean, this is all new science. So GLP-1s are not new science, right? It's applied now very differently. And that's kind of what everyone is nervous about. And I think that's correct to be nervous about that, right? It wasn't introduced for weight loss. It was introduced to help diabetics. But I think it's amazing. I always felt like this. I always felt like, where is science helping me with this weight loss issue? There's this girl next to me, and then there's me. We're doing the exact same fitness, exact same nutrition. This biatch loses 20 pounds, and I lose 2. The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. Something's not right. There's got to be a better way. Where's the help? Where's my friend? Where's science? And I just knew all my life. I was like, someday, why can't they figure that out? Why can't they figure it out? And here is why, which is a beautiful and crazy thing all at the same time. The beautiful thing is there's only one of you in this entire universe. Isn't that crazy? I totally love that. I love that. It's crazy to me and also amazing that there's only one of you. And this is why the doctors can't be like, here's the pill for this, because your genetic makeup is like no one else's. And your environmental makeup is like no one else's. No one is taking exactly the same things you are with the exact genetic makeup you have. So that's why it's a little frustrating. There is no one thing that can fix it for anyone. And that's why you got to do a little bit of an experiment. You have to be willing to be like, understand that just because something works for me or for her or for that person, there's no way to guarantee that's going to work for you, or that it's not going to work, right? You have to be willing to be on the ride of this experiment, enjoy the journey, be like, cool, all right, I'm going to try that. I can't wait to try that and see if that works for me. As long as I put it in the system, right? In a system that's going to work. So anyway, that is why I was super excited that tirzepatide came out. And that is when Anna and I really talked to her and I was like, this might be a little bit different because this works 2 pathways instead of just one, not just the one that, works with appetite suppressant and cravings, because that is not a problem for me. But the insulin pathway is what was really interesting to me, because I feel like that is one of my major issues. And again, I am not going to try. So, and again, here's another thing that makes me crazy. All these people coming at me, they're like, well, what's the science? I'm like, I'm not a scientist, not a scientist, babe. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not even going to try because I would tell you wrong things. And one thing I'm not going to do is sit here and tell you a bunch of wrong things. You want to look at the science? Go look it up. So I have a woman who does the science. Her name is Anna. She helps me figure all that out. Um, and so, all I will tell you is I knew that this was a little bit different. And there's a new synthetic peptide called retatrutide. It is not legal yet. I am not taking that yet. I know I'm going to say yet because who knows? But that works 3 pathways. And I think that's going to have some very interesting things for people who struggle like I do with weight loss. And, you know, um, I think it's really maddening for me. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, but when there's some skinny 25-year-old with abs explaining to me that all I need to do is work out more and eat a certain way. Yeah. You know what, lady? Call me when you're 59. Call me when you're 59. Let's have a sweet chat at that time when you've matured a little bit in your judgment. So, because it's just not that way. And perimenopause, menopause, and aging just does a number on your metabolic pathways, right? And on the peptides in your body, right? They get old. And your body needs to be reminded about how to do these either through the natural peptides or it needs to be told how to do it, right? That's kind of the difference. Like the natural peptides, like encourage your body to do it. The synthetics are just do it, right? So it's a little different. So anyway, that's like where I kind of got to the idea that I really wanted to try this. And I'm very excited about it. And I am very grateful for all the people who are supporting me on that journey. Um, and, all my ladies, and I love Cat Pack, you guys. Cat Pack is my women's only coaching group. It's a Facebook group that I have and that I just love it. I love all the women in there. They're all so real. We're all, on this roller coaster of health and wellness. And we really share genuinely in there. And I love it because everyone's does different things, but we all share, right? So some are on GLP-1s, some are not, some have been on them and have absolute horror stories. And it's good for us to hear those, just overdosing and all of that. Other women have been on GLP-1s and had 0 weight loss and then went to the natural peptides and had amazing success. So, it's really great to see this pool of all these different stories so we can all kind of compare and contrast, right? And, one thing I do want to say also is that I'm very aware, and you should be aware that if you decide to take a drug, there are side effects that are a risk. And you should be aware of those, right? And I have heard everything from like stomach seizing to one of the ladies reached out to me who tried tirzepatide and told me that she has got spots in her vision and will probably never get that back. And, I was very happy to hear all those things. So one thing I will say is that this is why I decided to microdose. And, one catty woman, whatever lady, but she came at me and actually, this sounds crazy, but I love it when the biatches come at me. I really do because it just reminds me of things that I need to speak to. So yeah, keep coming. It doesn't bother me. I think they bother me. Uh, no one bothers me. People that I care about who are close to me, people in Cat Pack, I care what they think because they know me. But some random stranger on Instagram, even though that might be how we know each other, but if you're going to come at me with some horribleness, that doesn't bother me. But if you care and you're a good person and you are struggling and you need support, girl, I'm going to be right there with you. because you I care about. But what I am going to say is, shoot, I lost my train of thought on what cattiness they come at me with. I'm sure I will up with it later. But often I do love it because it reminds me of something to chat about. So anyway, microdosing, I remember. Yes, I do get it back. Thanks. I just took my focus. So I'm still here. But, she came at me and she was like, that's not you're not microdosing. Call it what it is. It's a starter dose. And I was like, okay, well, ugliness. But my intention right now is to microdose. And my great hope is that that microdose is all I need to get to the results I want. And by the way, I'm not looking to do that over a month. Anna and I are moving very, very, probably slower than any of our other clients in my dose, because I just am not interested in being, I'm never interested in being skinny, actually. I don't want that. I really don't. I've never had abs, so I won't. The other day I said, I don't need to see my abs, girl. I'm just trying to see my feet. If you know, right? I'm just trying to see my feet. But I really have no desire to be skinny. I want to look strong and healthy and lean. And I want to feel great in my bathing suit. And I want to look good. And I don't feel badly about that. But I will keep my head around myself and make sure that I am keeping in perspective with my body image for that. But long story short, my goal is to microdose. But I never say never. If I feel like I want to do more, then I will. And I will share that with you here in this vlog. And this first one I know is painstakingly long. Hopefully you're having a glass of wine or coffee and hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time. We will try to wrap up pretty soon. But that is my goal. My goal is to microdose and then see if that's working and getting me to my goals. By the way, oh my God, freaking looked up my BMI the other day. This is insane because my goal right now is to lose about 10, 15 pounds. That I feel is like my sweet spot. I like a little curve. I like a little meat on my body. Like I really do. But so 10, 15 pounds off. Guys, I looked up my BMI. What the HE double hockey sticks? What? My BMI tells me that right now, from my size, I need to lose 50 to 60 pounds. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? 50 to 60 pounds? What is wrong with you? Good Lord. I know a lot of doctors shun that BMI bullshit, and I hope they do, because that is absolutely insane. I can't imagine what I would look like, nor would I want to look like that, 50 to 60 pounds less. That's just crazy. So please do not look at BMIs. And by the way, BMIs are the way the doctors are prescribing most of these medications, the GLP-1s. No wonder they're overdosing, because they're going for this unrealistic version of what a woman should look like. It's insane. I just want to see if there's anything that I missed before I kind of wrap up here. Okay. Oh yeah, the other thing I did want to say, and I think I said it a little bit, but you know, I know I have a lot of followers and I love you all. Thank you for following me. I love creating a space of positivity for women in a sharing space. But, I really did not want to say, hey, I am taking tirzepatide, I'm taking a synthetic peptide as a way like, yep, everyone should do that. Because that is really, I just want to go back to, please be careful about that. I really do encourage you, and my journey is natural bioactive precision peptides first. Then I'm trying this medication to see if it gets me to my goal. And then my goal is to go back to bioactive precision peptides because they're natural. Those just encourage my natural body to do what it needs to do. So anyway, I hope that helps. And, again, I am on a journey. So I am leaving myself open to try things and to see what works. I will do another video that will share with you all the products I take. Lots of supplements, the protein shakes I love. By the way, I am upping my protein. I am absolutely making sure I take my fit I'm taking 2 Fit a day while I'm on my, tirzepatide because I want to maintain my muscle. I don't want to lose my muscle. I've worked really hard for that. And I want to be strong. That is, the whole goal in my life is longevity. So that's strength, flexibility, mobility, running up a flight of stairs, traveling, being able to carry my suitcase, hopefully someday picking up grandchildren, so, and being around as long as I can in a healthy way. So, that is the goal, my friends. So anyway, thank you again. Thank you again. This is me. No makeup. I did brush my hair for you. No fancy lights. Um, just an honest, take on this. I know a lot of you, if you are one of my followers or watch me closely, you're probably one of the women who are like me and struggled desperately with weight. I was bullied a lot in my younger years for being overweight. I was lucky I discovered dance. And, I was very trim when I danced and I could eat what I wanted, but I was in my 20s and I was dancing 8 hours a day often and teaching fitness and, aerobics. So it was an excessive amount of exercise to keep up with that. And then, of course, being a mom and working in a very sedentary, high stress job, which was, live events, the pounds just kept packing on, and then menopause, perimenopause, menopause. So I think a lot of you can relate to my journey, and I hope in some way I am giving you a platform, first of all, of self-love. I really want to remind you to please come to this place of health and wellness, not in punishment. We're not here to, your body is beautiful. I really need you to understand that you need to love your body. You're going to come into fitness, nutrition, mindset, and supplements. You're going to come into all that in a very different way. If you come at it from a place of love, that's what's going to be able to help you sustain that. I really want you to love your body, love your life, love yourself as we work on being the best version of ourselves, right? Because if you hate your body, you're never going to get to the goals you want. So I really want you to dig deep and find the way to love yourself on this journey and to accept the process. And remind yourself also, you're not supposed to look like you did when you were 20 or 25. You know, um, we need to appreciate our body for what it was at that time. But if you're in a different season of life, and whether in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that's different version. And it's not supposed to look like it did back then. And we need to love and appreciate the version that we're in right now. But again, and I think it's very exciting right now. I think it's finally science is catching up, right? Because my body is not the same as Sarah Jane or whatever the name is of that skinny girl who could eat whatever she wants. But again, skinniness is not the goal. Like, just because someone's skinny and they're down in McDonald's all freaking day doesn't mean that they are healthy. They could um, they could be in the hospital a lot faster than I am because they are not healthy. And so, we really want to go for this goal of health. But I will always say, like, being a healthy weight is a part of being healthy. It's what enables us to run up a flight of stairs and move our bodies and be flexible. And so, but they all have to go hand in hand. It has to be a whole system that works together. And my system is not going to be your system. Your system needs to be a system you figure out for you. So you are going to have to see all the things that I'm doing, all the things that you are seeing, hopefully positive influencers and people around you, people you love and care about, doctors. And if your doctor sucks, by the way, fire them. Fire that doctor and freaking go find someone that will work with you and be an advocate with you. That's what you need. Someone who's willing to help you in your hormone journey, your gut health journey, to look at real supplements that can help you, like, and not just slapping a GLP-1 in front of you because your BMI is off the charts. Like, you've got to be working with qualified people, right? And maybe your primary doctor isn't that. Not all doctors are bad, you guys. There are great primary doctors out there. I actually love my primary care doctor, but she has so much on her plate and she's got to learn so much. And that's why I was able, I really wanted to go with my specialist, my nurse practitioner, who's outside the general practitioner world, who just focuses on functional health and wellness and hormones. So anyway, it's a lot to digest. We will continue the conversation. The comment section is open. The comment section is open. I would be so excited. Please be gentle in the way you say things. I think there's a loving way for us to ask me hard questions. I'm not afraid of hard questions. I don't like it if you don't ask them nicely. You know what I mean? There's a nice way to say things, people. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not afraid of hard questions. I want them. So let's have real open conversations here and support each other. I really want to answer any question you have. So I will look at those comments as we move forward. I will drop that other video of all the things that I am doing. And then the next video I will drop based on a lot of the comments I get and as things come up for me and as I go on this journey to share honestly with you how I'm doing. So thank you for being here. Thank you for spending so much time with me. I adore you. Let's continue to love ourselves as we work on the best version of ourselves so we can live the strongest, best, healthiest, happiest, longest life we possibly can. And just so you know, this is the way I am. This tech, this button was supposed to stop it. And I'm not going to edit it. You get to see it all, sister. I'll push the button. I'll see you soon.